So you're looking for a 3PL and now you need to compare the pricing between a bunch of different ones. And honestly, you're not sure where to start for how to compare pricing. So in this video, I'm going to go through pricing structures, how they work, different ones that exist, and how you can compare pricing to figure out which 3PL actually costs the least for your business. Let's check it out. Okay, so here I have just a pretty simple template that I've made up that you can go and download at any time if you want to. Across the top here, you can see that I have different 3PL options. I have the different fee types here. These are the main fees you're going to see from any 3PL: per order, per item, pallet, hour, item received, order returned, item returned, monthly minimum, and then any other rates they can go here. So 3PLs, they'll often have some other kind of rate that they'll include. So I just put a line here that you can use for that. On the right, we have the quantity input. So how many orders did we ship in this month? How many items, pallets, hours did we spend receiving, items that needed to be received, special projects that needed to be done, orders that got returned, items that got returned, and then other inputs here. So you can just use these for putting in the inputs that you're guessing you're going to have with the 3PL during the month. So let's for this scenario, we're going to make a scenario for, let's call the company Build a Block. Okay, right? They're going to sell these they're going to sell little blocks for kids, and they're doing, let's say they're doing 750 orders per month. And they're shipping, let's say they have like about 1.2 items per order, so about 1,000 items in a month. Their stuff's bigger, so let's say that they have about, let's say, we'll say 7 pallets stored. They're guessing it's going to take maybe 5 hours to receive all their products. They can ask 3PL for this number. 5 hours, items received. In a month, they're shipping about 1,000. So this month, they're going to say we're going to receive 1,500. Special projects, this is for any sort of like barcoding, labeling, or finding issues with the product. Like anything extra and special that you want the 3PL to do will go under special project hours here. So let's say for special projects, they didn't have any this month. Orders returned, they have pretty low return rate. Let's say they get 10 orders returned and 10 items returned per month. Other input, we're going to leave this one blank for now because we're going to wait to see what 3PL pricing structures get thrown at us so we can actually use that later. So the first step here is putting our quantity in. Then we're going to go in and put the fee schedule for each 3PL here. I have a couple made up that we'll go through, and we'll just port those numbers into here. The last step is then estimating postage. If I had to highlight anything, this would be the number one thing, because most people just skip over this aspect of 3PL cost comparisons, but postage is always going to cost more than anything else on your line item. So comparing the postage between the 3PL is really important. To do that, what we're going to do is have these different weight breaks here. You see that? So we have quarter pound, half pound, 3/4, and then we're going to estimate what percentage of the volume falls into this weight bracket. So our total, it's got to be 100%, right? We need 100% of our volume to fall between these buckets somehow. And we as the brand get to decide how we're going to split that up between the different weight breaks. Once we do that, our estimator here is going to go and look at the different 3PL rate matrices that we plug in to see what would the average rate for that weight break be. So we can get kind of an idea. It's not going to be perfect. I can guarantee you it's not going to be perfect, but we can get an idea of what each 3PL is going to cost on postage. So, all right, let's jump into it. So the first one I have here is EcoShip. That's the name of our business, and this is a legitimate pricing proposal we would send out to somebody. I'm using this as a great example. The rest are made up, but this one is ours. If we look through, we can see per order, per pick, per insert, estimated packaging, postage, kitting, receiving, hourly time, all this stuff here. So what I'm gonna do is take these numbers, port it over, and then I'll show you what that looks like. All right, we're back. So now you can see that I went and I highlighted a couple of these lines that were important and changed in some way. So when I was looking at this proposal, I looked back at my comparison template and I realized, okay, I don't have anything for insert, packaging, and software on there. So I went and I just added other charges for insert, packaging, and software. This is the way it's going to be with all your 3PLs. They're all going to have some sort of different unexpected expense that's not on this template, but that's why we put the other categories in here. So that's why I highlighted these. Insert, packaging, I added these two to the comparison template on the previous tab. And then down here, per kit setup and per kit input. Now, when I was talking to my helpful 3PL salesman at EcoShip, Jake, he told me we don't need to worry about this price because the brand that I'm representing, we don't have any sort of kitting that we do. Kitting is when you take multiple products, you bundle them into one product to ship out to the customer. At our company, we're not going to do that, so we're not going to add this fee. Same thing with 20-foot container. This is a cargo container, like a 20-foot or 40-foot cargo container. This is what it costs to unload it. We're not going to have any of those sent. We're a smaller company, and so we're just going to have parcels being sent to the 3PL. So I didn't include that on the comparison template. But again, you're going to see stuff just like this, where there's prices that don't apply to you that you don't really care about. So why include them on the template? So jumping back here, we can see we have our per order fee, item fee, pallet, hour. EcoShip does not have a item return fee. Or an item received fee, sorry. They have the per order return, they have the per item return. They don't have the monthly minimum. They have per insert, per packaging, and then software and other recurring expenses. So it's $30 for software and $400 for account management fee after the first 3 months. So I included on that line there. So up here, we're gonna call this EcoShip. That's EcoShip complete. Until we get to postage, we'll get to postage a little later. So when I come back here, I'm looking at EcoShip. I'm gonna move them over here because they're done. So next is I shipped my pants 3PL. So you can see their first pick here, additional picks per insert, estimated packaging. So let's walk through this one. First pick fee. This is a little bit different than EcoShip's. They are saying that the first pick costs $2.80. So that means the first item is $2.80 and then additional items are 20 cents. So if we want to make this all apples to apples on our previous comparison template, we're actually going to make this per order fee 2.6 because the first item costs 20 cents. They don't say that on the proposal, but it does cost 20 cents. So we're going to call it 2.6. And then per item fee, let's jump back to this real quick. So that means a one item order is 280. So the per order is 260, per item is 20. All right, so their per insert is 25. Let's put that here, insert 25. I'm gonna go through the rest of this pricing, add it all, then we'll jump back. Okay, now we're back. We can see I plugged in all the rates here for I shipped my pants. By the way, this is not a real 3PL name. Somebody very creative came up with this idea. So I shipped my pants is here. You can see all the pricing inputs. I didn't need to create any new ones. I did need to use monthly min. This is not added into our total services cost. We just need to be aware that the monthly minimum, if we don't hit it, then we got to pay the difference in order to get that minimum. Next is software and other recurring. So they have a high recurring monthly expense here, and I needed to add no PO. So if a shipment arrives with no PO, they're going to charge me $40 for that. In this scenario, I said I was a little lazy. I didn't add my PO, so it cost me $40 in here. So that gets my total services cost, and then we can see the rank down here. So EcoShip is 4, I ship my pants is 5 right now, but we still need to do postage. So when we get to postage, we'll see what the actual rank is. Next, so we're going to finish this one. Next is bird shipped fulfillment. So when we look at this one, we can see nothing too crazy going on here. I'm gonna go ahead and add this to our pricing proposal. We'll jump back in. All right, we're back. Bird shipped, I put it into our sheet here. The per order fee, we see it's $2.20. Item 40 per pallet, a little higher at 32. Per hour, a little higher, 57. Per order return, $2.50. The insert is really low, 15 cents. Packaging, 55 cents. Lower. Software recurring, also lower. New charge here per SKU per month. So you'll see this sometimes when at 3PL they want to charge for how many SKUs they have in their warehouse for you. They'll do that per month. So they're going to charge you $2 per SKU per month, which is not great for our brand here. We have 132 SKUs, and so that's $2 per SKU per month. But adding that all up, we still get to a pretty great rank here for bird shipped. They're coming in much lower than the other two options right now. So they're looking good. Again, we need to add postage. I keep coming back to postage because it's so easy to overlook, but it is so essential. We'll see how things change or flip when we add in postage to this equation. All right, so next, let's bird shipped. Our last one, what we're gonna do is SKUs me. So excuse me, we can see they have their proposal here. It looks just like our other ones here. We're gonna have a new charge, receiving per inbound carton and per inbound pallet. So this is another way 3PLs will charge for receiving. Besides just hourly, they'll charge for how many pallets or cartons you have inbound. So they'll count them all up and then charge you for it at the end of the month. Besides that, we also have a monthly minimum here of $2,000 and a monthly fixed account management fee of $800. We'll add both those to our proposal. So let me add these in and then come back. Okay, we're back now looking at excuse me. So this one's a little interesting. They only have a per order fee. They don't have a per item fee. So it's just $320. It's a little higher. Per pallet 32, hour 57, order 250, monthly minimum 2,000. We should be good with the volume we have. We're not gonna hit that or need to pay anything under that, but it's good to have a note of it. Insert 25, packaging 75, software and other recurring 950, per SKU per month 150, receiving per pallet per carton. So that gets our total services cost here, putting them at rank number 4. Now I do have a spot for 5 3PLs here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and erase this. To get our rankings to be correct here. So you can see Bird Shipped is coming in at number 1, Eco Ship 2, Excuse Me at 3, and I Ship My Pants at number 4. Now let's see what adding our postage rates does to these rankings. It may shift it in some way, or maybe it won't. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna come down to our percentage of volume. I'm gonna go through and fill in what matches for this brand well, what our percentage of volume. So this brand, we're selling blocks, so they're like, they're not too heavy, they're a little heavy, but not too heavy. So let's say the percentage of volume, we have 25 going in that half pound, and then we have 25 going in that 3/4, and then we have another 25 going in the 1 pound. Then let's say we have 10, what are we at? We're at 85% right now. And then we have 7, and let's say 5, 2, 1, and then 0 for the rest of these, okay? So this is how we can get our estimate for what is it going to cost for each 3PL on postage. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our different rate matrices. So these are all blank right now. Now with 3PL, when they price you, they should give you a rate matrix so you can see exactly how much you're gonna pay by zone and weight for each shipment. So across the top here is zone. Now the US is split up into 8 zones. Closest to the 3PL is the cheapest, that's zone 1, and then 8 is the furthest away from the 3PL. On the left is weight. Now they should provide a rate matrix looking exactly like this. You want their rate shop rate matrix. That means just choosing the cheapest rate for the shipment that they're gonna send. Now this way of comparison is definitely not perfect because if our 3PL, we're located in Reading, Pennsylvania. So that means California is zone 8 for us. Now if you're located, let's say the 3PLs in Indiana, they may have no zone 8 3PL or zone 8 shipments because everything's in a closer radius to them. The max they might have is 5. Now, the way this works is it just takes an average across the 8 zones. So this is not a perfect way to compare rates by any means, but it's much better than not looking at them at all. So let's take a look. All right, so I'm gonna jump over to EcoShip's rates. They gave me the rate chart here. And I'm just gonna copy it and paste it. Now I conveniently made this all formatted the same. It's not gonna be quite this easy when you go to do it yourself with 3PLs, but it will be something kind of like this. So I paste the rates in and I get my averages. If I jump back over here to our main tab, now I can see an estimate for each weight breakdown of what am I gonna pay for postage. I can see that jumps back up here to postage estimate to get our total estimated monthly cost right here for EcoShip. Okay, so this is the essential part that we got to do is look at our postage rates because we can see our postage is as much as our services. Like we're gonna pay for postage as much as we pay for people to pack our boxes. So getting the postage estimate is so important and often so easily skipped by brands. That's why I'm putting so much stress on it here. All right, so I'm gonna go through each of these and then we'll jump back to see how does that change our rankings. So just to remind ourselves, our rankings right now, EcoShip 2, I Ship My Pants 4, Bird Shipped 1, Excuse Me 3. All right, let's take a look at how adding postage changes our rankings. Okay, here are our final rankings. So we can see that services, you can see Bird Shipped here, much lower than everybody else. Their postage was higher than everybody else. This is pretty common in 3PLs. Those that have the lowest service fees will often have the highest postage costs because they're looking to make that margin up in the postage. Pretty much every 3PL marks up postage. It's just how much do they do it. So Bird Shipped, they do it more than other people here to compensate for that. So when we're looking at our rankings, we can see the 3PLs, they're actually pretty close in price. Excuse Me is 9,000, EcoShip 8,400, Bird Shipped 8,300, I Ship My Pants 91. So all the 3PLs are pretty close, even though they have vastly different pricing structures. And honestly, this is the way it's going to be, is most 3PLs are going to be really close in the price that they charge. Just their pricing structure is going to be so different. So then when you're looking at this, now you can get a great idea of how much am I going to pay with this specific 3PL. If the cost is all looking pretty similar, then we're going to go to other criteria for selecting the 3PL. We're going to which 3PL do I think is going to do the best job for my business? Which do I think is going to be the best partner? Which do I just like the most? Like, which people do I like the most? This is really important, guys, because you're going to be talking to the 3PL probably every single day. And so liking the people that you work with and having good, fast communication is so essential and often overlooked in the 3PL selection process. We're not just going based on price. Anyway, this is the comparison template. You can use this. I'm going to link this down in the below. The download to this, it's just a Google Sheet. You can copy it, use it for yourself. Pretty easy. If you want any help comparing 3PLs or pricing or diving into how 3PL pricing structures work or what does it mean, totally happy to. You can send me an email at jake@ecoship.com. Anytime, guys. Appreciate you all. Have a good one.